Welcome to my YouTube channel, Family Drama Files. Please like, share, subscribe for more emotional videos.
Retirement was supposed to be the happiest chapter of Thomas Carter's life. After 40 years of hard work, he finally bought a quiet farmhouse in Tennessee, where he dreamed of watching sunrises instead of deadlines. But just days after moving, his daughter-in-law Jessica Carter made one phone call that changed everything. She calmly announced that her brother Ryan Miller would be moving into the farmhouse because he needed a place to stay. Then she added one sentence that shocked Thomas. "If you do not like it, sell the house." She believed an old man living alone would simply give up. She had no idea Thomas had already prepared for this exact moment. What happened when they arrived left everyone speechless. Thomas Carter spent most of his life sacrificing for his family. He worked overtime, missed holidays, and saved every extra dollar so his son Daniel Carter could attend college without debt. Thomas never complained because he believed family always came first. When retirement finally arrived, Thomas rewarded himself with something he had dreamed about for decades. He purchased a peaceful farmhouse surrounded by rolling fields in Tennessee. The home represented freedom, peace, and the chance to enjoy the years he had earned. Daniel congratulated his father and promised to visit often. Jessica Carter smiled during the housewarming, but Thomas noticed something strange. She kept asking questions about the property size, the extra bedrooms, and whether Thomas planned to update his will. He ignored the comments, believing she was only making conversation. A week later, Thomas received an unexpected phone call. Jessica spoke confidently, as if the decision had already been made. She explained that her brother Ryan Miller had recently lost his apartment and needed somewhere to live. She said the farmhouse had plenty of space, so Ryan would move in immediately. She even discussed which bedroom he would use. Thomas quietly interrupted and reminded her that he had never offered anyone a room. Jessica laughed. She said families share everything, and repeated that if Thomas refused, he could simply sell the farmhouse because Ryan needed it more. Thomas remained calm. He thanked Jessica for letting him know her plans. Then he ended the call. Instead of arguing, Thomas contacted attorney Michael Brooks the very next morning. Michael carefully reviewed every ownership document, confirmed that Thomas was the sole legal owner of the farmhouse. Together, they updated estate documents and added additional legal protections, and prepared written notices, making it absolutely clear that no one had permission to occupy the property without Thomas's consent. Thomas also installed security cameras, upgraded the locks, and informed the sheriff, David Collins, about the situation in case anyone attempted to enter the property without permission. Days later, Daniel called. He sounded uncomfortable. He admitted Jessica believed Thomas was overreacting and insisted Ryan deserved the farmhouse because Thomas was retired and living alone. Thomas calmly asked one question: "Did you ever ask me what I wanted?" Daniel became silent. On Saturday morning, a pickup truck pulled into the driveway. Jessica stepped out with Ryan and several boxes already packed for moving day. She smiled confidently, expecting Thomas to welcome them inside. Instead, Thomas greeted them politely on the porch. Attorney Michael Brooks stood beside him, holding several legal documents. Sheriff David Collins remained nearby after Thomas requested a peaceful standby to prevent any unnecessary conflict. Jessica immediately became angry. She accused Thomas of embarrassing the family. Ryan insisted they had already told friends he would be living there. Thomas looked directly at them. He explained that buying a home does not give relatives ownership. Respect cannot be demanded through pressure. Every document clearly proved the farmhouse belonged only to him. Michael Brooks handed Jessica a formal notice explaining that any attempt to enter or occupy the property without permission would be considered unlawful. Ryan suddenly realized this was no misunderstanding. Jessica turned toward Daniel, expecting him to defend her. Instead, Daniel lowered his head. For the first time, he admitted his father had sacrificed everything for him while receiving very little respect in return. Jessica argued that family should help family. Thomas answered with quiet confidence, "Helping someone is an act of kindness. Taking what belongs to someone else is entitlement." Ryan slowly loaded every box back into the truck. Jessica left without another word. Several weeks later, Daniel returned alone. He apologized sincerely. He admitted he had remained silent because keeping peace at home seemed easier than standing beside his father. But watching Thomas defend himself with dignity made him realize silence often hurts the innocent. Thomas accepted the apology. Trust, however, would take time to rebuild. Father and son spent the afternoon repairing an old wooden fence together, just as they had years earlier. The farmhouse once again became the peaceful home Thomas had always imagined. He enjoyed quiet mornings, coffee on the porch, and evenings watching the sunset across the fields. For the first time since retirement, he understood that protecting his peace was just as important as earning it. Many people believe kindness means saying yes to every family demand. Thomas Carter proved that true kindness also includes protecting your dignity, your home, and the life you worked decades to build. Respect begins the moment you stop allowing others to decide your future. Sometimes the greatest victory is not winning an argument. It is calmly standing your ground while the truth speaks louder than anger. Thomas never needed revenge. He simply refused to surrender what he had honestly earned. That decision gave him something far more valuable than property. It gave him peace, freedom, and self-respect that no one could ever take away. Please like and subscribe.